welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please remember to subscribe. To my subscribers, karibuni tena, asanteni sana kwa like and following and sharing. You guys have been amazing. We've seen the most amazing love and support over the past few days, and today I am going to give you the most favorite and asked the most favorite dish from our motherland. This is something that people have been asking me for a long time to make for them, or rather to show them how to do it. And today I am going to go through all the process, what I do, what I use, and how I do it. So please stay tuned. Karibuni tena sana. So normally I like making pumpkin chapati. I know all of you have noticed my chapati are always yellow because they are always pumpkin chapati. I do always prefer doing pumpkin chapati because I'm trying to make it a little bit more like less, because the more I use the vegetables and the pumpkins, the lesser I will have to use the flour. So at least I try to reduce on like using a lot of wheat, so it makes it a bit of like vegetarian chapati. So yeah, that's why you see I am always doing pumpkin chapati. I don't remember the last time I made the white chapati. I do love the white chapati. I miss the white chapati, but it's just that when I want to try making it, it looks so weird. And yeah, this is my favorite one, my family's favorite one. And welcome. So normally what I do is I always use the electric mixer. Not always. I started using electric mixer ever since I discovered it. I would use this whisk, though it's not the right whisk because it has a hook. The hook one is supposed to be the one for kneading, but I always like to use this one because I feel like it incorporates all my ingredients together. Like I feel like it doesn't leave the air, and it's like fikia all over. So that's why I always like using this one. There's a hook one, but I don't even know where it is. So let's start. So what I normally do is I will mix all my dry ingredients together. So this is 3 cups of plain flour, and I will for this I'll use like 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, and that's it. And then I will use a half teaspoon of salt. So normally what I do is, if I do 1 tablespoon of sugar, I will do a quarter of salt. So I normally measure my salt with sugar. I don't like measure it with the flour, and it also depends with how sweet you like, because other people normally like doing the without sugar because you are eating it with like stew anyways. So most people like having it without sugar, but I like to make mine a bit sweeter. I'll always mix the dry ingredients together. So that's the flour, sugar, and the salt. I will try and mix them first, and then I'll put my vegetables. So my vegetables is grated carrots. This is spring onions and coriander. So I use this spring onions is this one, and then I use coriander. So normally what I do with coriander is I just pick on the leaves. I just pick on the leaves only. I don't use like the stem, because it will make your chapati to thaw when you're trying to roll. So I'll quickly mix this. I'll always do the mixing in the lower speed because yeah, I don't want to incorporate air too much. That's done. So I'll continue putting on my other dry ingredients. That's the veggies. So as I told you, the carrots, I'll use hot water rather than warm. I don't know why, I'm just probably used to doing it. So if you can see, I'll pour in my water slowly by slowly. It doesn't need a lot of water because the pumpkin is always like mashed, so it does a lot of kneading. So you don't have to use a lot of water or milk. Some other people would like to use milk, but I use water. So, and then you can just leave it a little bit to knead by itself for a few minutes to make sure that all the air is like going out. So normally, and by the way, all the ingredients depends with the size of chapati you want. This is just for 2. That's why I've got a little bit of my chapatis. And the trick with chapati is kneading. You need to give it a lot of time when kneading, because that is where the trick is. If you knead your chapatis well, they probably are not going to crack, or they are not going to be very hard. It is just more about kneading. So yeah. So I'll show you how it is. It is very nice and soft, so I'll have to add a little bit of flour. So I have a cup here, and I want to make sure that I don't over add, so that it doesn't become So guys, I take a lot of time on my kneading. Even when I'm using my hands, I have to take a lot of time, because that's the most important part. So when you feel like your dough is nearly done, instead of adding more flour, if it's still a bit thick, you add a bit of vegetable oil. So that helps a lot. So I normally just don't measure how much, because it just depends with how my flour will, how my dough will need. So I'll just add a little bit, few drops. After this, I will take and finish kneading with my own hands to make sure that it is the consistency that I want, because if I feel, I know what consistency of the dough I want. So that's what I am gonna be doing. I had washed my hands before I started. So I'll put it on my clean surface that's there. I had already prepared it because that's where I normally use to roll. So this is my kneading surface. I'll just put a little bit of dough here. kneading hand so that I notice if I have the right consistency I need. So the biggest trick of chapati is making sure that the dough is nice and soft. It doesn't have to necessarily be sticking in your hands, but it just like has to be nice and soft. If it is this nice and soft, then you'll have the soft chapati. That's the only trick of the soft chapati. Just make sure that your dough is just very nice and soft. So I won't be doing much with this. I'll leave it for 30 minutes to rest, and by that time I'll be making my stew. To rest, I always like using my cling wrap. I prefer using cling wrap. I don't know why. You can use like cloth or something. Yeah. So I'll leave it for 30 minutes, and I'll see you after 30 minutes. So guys, 30 minutes later, so as you can see, my chapati, if you press on them, it will just come back, so it shows that it's gotten more pressure. So I will go to rolling. So it depends on what you want. Mostly if you want very good layers, you have to work for it. But if you are not after lots of layers, then you're safe. So I'll make balls. I'm going to show you how to get good layers. So I'll get the balls from the chapati. This is how I get. After you make your balls, you make sure you cover your balls so that they don't get dry. So normally I'll just wet something. So today I'll wet this, but you can use even like paper towel or something. Just make sure you make it wet and then like completely dry, and then so that is what I'm in. Then you just cover them. So this will help them to not be dry. So we don't just like roll like normally. So after you have your round shape, so what you do is you put a little bit of oil, then some people use spoon, I'll just use my fingers to quickly spread it all over, And then, so how I'll get my layers, I'll do that. Babe, you don't really care, can you?
What?
Come
The
on.
camera?
So if you can see, this is how I had folded, and then you just make this. Put it in properly. What's done? Do it like that for all the others. That's another way. There's so many ways of getting layers in your chapati. You can just Google and use what you think is much easier for you. I don't use this all the time because at times I have like visitors or something, so I have to make a lot of chapati, so I can't go this long way. So there's another much easier way I normally use to get the layers. So because today I just wanted to So as you can see guys, you will see the lines for the layer. That's the one I was telling you. Also, I normally like when I've finished cooking, I'll put it under like in a plastic bag or maybe a foil paper or cling wrap, depends what you, I don't know if this thing is normally true, but normally they say that if you leave it on the air, it will dry. So I've never tried leaving it on the air because I always just put it inside a clean plastic bag or a cling wrap or foil paper. It just depends on what you have. So yeah. So I just like cooking it on low to medium heat, and then make sure probably your pan is a bit what do we call this? The heavy one, not the light one, because normally the light one will burn. So you just give it some time. Make sure you keep rolling side by side, so to ensure that all the sides are cooking well and they're not drying on the sides. So the more you keep giving it time in the pan, it helps it a lot with not burning on the sides alone. So that's the trick. Some people will have their chapati very soft in the middle and just burnt on the sides. So if you keep like rotating it, or you keep giving it that much attention, it will cook evenly. And you can see our layers are coming. Yeah.
Right.
So
The man is gonna eat it.
this is the man who's gonna eat it. He's
Yeah,
just
he's
here.
busy over here.
So when you put for the first time, you just leave it for a few minutes, and then you turn to the other side to make sure that it's just it's got the heat on both sides before you put the cooking oil. So that's another trick I used. So after I've turned it to make sure that this side has got a bit of heat, then I can just put a little bit of cooking oil, and that's it. Giving it some time on the other side to So guys, this is the last result. So this is our last result, what is going into our tummy. If you can see, the chapati are looking so nice and delicious. I just cut this when I was trying to get the layers, so you can see the layers are all over. So this is the layers we all wanted. Chapati bila layers. So that's the one I was telling you. So that's how we get the layers. I bet all these chapos will have layers. I don't want to tear all of them, so if you can see that one. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Please remember to subscribe here. More recipes coming, not only for chapos, for something else. Asanteni sana, mubarikiwe. Bye.